Hey everyone, Tony D with a Hollywoke hot take. Yes, Hollywoke. That, by the way, is going to be the new name for these segments, Hollywoke hot take, and it's in honor of the sequel to Wokistan that I'm writing with Christian called Hollywoke, and it takes place. Takes place in the Wokistan universe, the sequel to Wokistan, a novel called Hollywoke, and I think we announced it on Twitter one day, but this is more official because now I got a logo. So look for that in the coming months. We got a draft and we're polishing it now. So the stuff that happens in Hollywoke is stuff that's happening right now. So today, or yesterday, I guess, Kevin Conroy, one of my favorite voice actors, voice of animated series Batman, said something totally reasonable on Twitter. And I know, you can't say reasonable things on Twitter. People lose their minds. And of course, they did. He said he didn't agree with the looting and the rioting. So controversial, right? This is the problem with the Twitterati. They're morons. They are woke to the hilt, and they will get upset over anything. They salivate and hunger for clicks and attention, these people. They hunger for Instagram followers and Twitter followers, and they'll say and do anything to get them. And what they like to do is cancel people. So even if you say something as reasonable as, well, I don't really agree with the looting or the rioting, no, you have to go. So my advice to Kevin Conroy and any of these famous or semi-famous people who get canceled or attempt to be canceled is ignore Twitter. Ignore it. I'm not saying, look, I understand you have to go on Twitter sometimes if you're promoting things, but understand that you shouldn't listen to it. There's only 2% of the U.S. population is on Twitter. 2%. So that is, it's a few million people. But in a country of 350 some odd million people, that's not a lot of people. Not really. And when I say there's only 2% of the people on Twitter, they don't even see you when you tweet, even when you're famous. Even when you got 1 million followers, you're lucky if a tiny portion of them see your tweet. I'm following, at this point, I guess 1,000 people, 1,500 people, something like that. I don't see their tweets half the time. I follow Christian CB on Twitter, and once in a while I see your tweets, but not every time. So even, people who follow a bunch of famous people, they might see your tweet, maybe. But, when they get focused on it, like when they decide to cancel you, then suddenly, let me look up Kevin Conroy. Yeah, he did something, and now I'm going to use my judgment and my Twitter abilities to cancel him. And you got to understand that most of these people are, not only are they woke, but they're kids. They're just dumb kids. Dumb kids. They have no clue what they're doing. They have no clue. They're going out to these protests and riots and whatever, and they don't have any idea what they're doing. They have none. They have no idea what they've unleashed. They have no idea that in November, not only will Trump win, all the local elections will go red too. This has damaged the Democratic brand way beyond repair. Way beyond. This is the end of the Democratic Party, I think, as we know it. The only way they could come back is if the Republicans somehow sink lower. It's possible. It's possible to do. I mean, they could go, total police state and start stomping on people, but I think that's a few years away at least. And quite frankly, people are ready to see some of these idiots stomped. I've talked to them, and let me tell you something. They would love it. They would call out the army in a hot minute if they have anything to say about it, because they do not tolerate your looting and rioting. They are perfectly fine with peaceful protest because everybody's fine with peaceful protest. It's peaceful. No one's hurt. But when you smash a window and raid stores and steal stuff, no, that's unacceptable. I know it's hard to imagine people who do that other people wouldn't see a store with a broken window and say, well, I can't go in there. That's not my store. That's because if you're saying, well, that's crazy, you're a dishonest person who would steal at any opportunity. You're a criminal because that's what criminals do. They take advantage of opportunities to hurt people, to advance their own deal, basically. So stop being a criminal. When you see a broken window in a store, first thing you should do is go, oh, that's not good. Does the store owner know? And if the store is closed, then the next thing you should do is call the police and say, there's a broken window here. I'll stand here and make sure nobody goes in, but you might want to send a cop car over here so they could like board up the store or get somebody over here. That's what you do. I know to some of the rioters and looters out there watching this on their stolen iPhones, they're like, what? No, you go into the store, take whatever you want. No, it's not what you do. And those of us who believe in being not thieves, we're normal. We're the good people. You are scum if you believe in looting. You're horrible because you're stealing. It would be no different than if you were, I don't know, sitting in a restaurant and you saw a woman's purse guarded, and you just took it because you could. And then you got outside and rifled through the purse and took out the money and the stuff you wanted and then just threw the purse in a trash can. That's stealing. It's the same thing going into a store that doesn't belong to you, that's closed with the alarm going off and the bells going off, and taking a bunch of stuff. Stealing. And people are against stealing. Civilized people are against stealing. People who are poor are against stealing. There are plenty of honest poor people who would never do that because they work hard, and even though they're poor, they have self-respect, and they don't want to get arrested. Number one, but number two, they don't want to. They wouldn't want. They've probably been stolen from. They don't like that, so they understand that you don't steal from other people, even other people who have more than you. It's not right. It's not right. So that's what Kevin Conroy is saying with his tweet. He's saying it's not right to loot. It's not right to steal. It's not a controversial statement at all. And yet, whenever I see people say this very non-controversial statement, other Twitter idiots want to imply that you're somehow unsupportive of the protest. No. Everyone was supportive of prison reform, police reform, with the death of George Floyd. Everyone was outraged by it. I can't name a single person who didn't watch that video and go, oh my God, what the hell is happening? Personally, I couldn't watch it. I was horrified. When I heard what it was about and I saw the beginning of it, I was like, oh, I can't watch this. Oh, no. I'm sorry I watched the video of that poor man getting pushed down and bleeding in Buffalo. That is horrific too. Police brutality is not good. No one's for it. No one. Most of the police aren't for it. It's a handful of idiots who don't understand their own power. Therefore. So this mob mentality is bad. You're not getting revenge on the cops. You're not getting revenge on anybody connected to your wrong. You're just stealing. You're just taking advantage of a horrible situation for yourself and no one else. And you should be called out. I'm not sure if Jake Paul actually stole anything, but he got arrested. I think he claims he didn't steal anything, but He shouldn't have been on the property. He shouldn't have been in that looted store, unless it was to videotape people looting for evidence with the cops. If you did that, then I'd be like, oh, good for you, good for you. But he was just there getting YouTube likes, I think, and that's he's done that kind of stuff before. It's risky. It's I guess some people would call it entertainment. I'm not a fan, but maybe you are. But you shouldn't do things. It's like that. It's wrong. It's wrong to steal and trespass on somebody's store and break the windows. It's wrong. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know why I have to explain it. Why do I have to explain it? Is anybody unclear on why this is wrong? Why looting and rioting is wrong? There's no context of which, well, this riot was right. No, there are no right riots. Even when something bad happens and you riot, that's bad. Because you're not addressing the grievance. You're just being angry. It's like saying, well, I got mad and I smashed it. I had a friend one time. He got so mad he smashed his phone to pieces. He had a landline. This was the era of landlines, by the way. He smashed his phone until it broke. He was hitting it so hard, he was on the second floor, and the people in the apartment below were actually, plaster was raining down on them. And he destroyed his phone because he was so mad. He didn't benefit by that. He just destroyed his phone and a part of a ceiling. So, don't do bad things. Stealing is bad. Not a controversial statement at all. Celebrities and anyone should be allowed to say that without fear that the mob will come along and cancel them. And we'll get into more mob stuff, as in mob of people, in the next video.